Excellent. All right, let's do a happy hips. So a nice slow one. We'll start in our Shavasana. As always, unless there's something else or another position that you feel more comfortable in. But Shavasana is always a nice one to rest into this stillness. So taking an opportunity at the beginning of our class to just be still. So physically giving rest to the body. If we've been moving around a lot so far today. And to the mind as well. When we're going about doing things, that mind tends to go, 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 thinking of the next thing to do. But when we come to our mats, when we come to our practice, our focus is devoted to what's going on inside, to seeing things that are happening in the present moment, how we're feeling, how we're breathing, how we're thinking. As we just let the activity of the day begin to settle down. Begin to increase the quality of the breath, first by extending or deepening those inhales, keeping to a natural depth. And also improving the rhythm of the breath. If we've been erratic, if it's shortened, if it's inconsistent, we're just allowing these smooth transitions from one breath to the next. There's no definitive point that a breath starts or stops. As we begin to explore how the body's feeling, where do we store our tension? What can we let go of here without having to move into any postures? Just by lying still and bringing our focus to an area, can we begin to relax it? Can we begin to feel more restful? As we move our awareness down to the fingertips, the toe tips, we introduce little movement, mindful movement, observing that movement we create. And then gently tucking these knees in, starting with our hug. We take the hands to wrap around the knees or the shins, squeezing in tight and beginning to add our movement here. Whatever's feeling good for us this afternoon. And returning to center, we'll lengthen that right leg out nice and long. Taking our twist with this left knee coming across the body. Starting this afternoon with our head to toe, opening twist. Settling into position, taking a deep breath in. And a long breath out. So happy hips this afternoon. We're going to do one I call hips 360. We're going to rotate, opening the hips from different sides, different angles. It's going to be more of a gentle class this afternoon. easing our way back to center. Swapping sides, drawing that right knee and lengthening the left leg. Take a moment, a deep breath in, and our exhale to twist. So finding that opening through the right side of the lower back, we're relaxing into this right leg. And we're feeling that opening spread up, so that gentle twist along the spine. That opening all the way up towards the chest. Relaxing the shoulders into the earth, especially that right side. Always finding these rotations to our own degree. We may find one side a little bit more tight than the other. Just work to each side. Slow, deep breaths. And coming back to center. Hugging both knees in towards the chest, this time with our rock and roll, taking our seated position. As we settle into the sit bones, getting nice and comfortable in our seat, lengthening up through the spine. And as we sit tall, we've got two options. We're going to come into a fold, so we can either do it cross-legged and walk the hands forwards. If we'd like to open into the inner thighs, we may like to bring the soles of the feet together, wrapping those hands around, keeping that natural length through the spine, and then folding forwards, leading that belly button towards the heels. So we're not trying to hunch into it. Keep the shoulders relaxed and back and down, and gentle draw in that fold, that opening coming through the hips. If it feels like those knees are lifting up, see if we can relax those down as well. Back of the neck is long and relaxed. As we breathe slow and deep to the belly. And sitting ourselves tall, coming to cross-legged, taking our neck stretches. So we sit tall, lengthening the right, resting that hand to the head. Is there any more lift that we can introduce to our posture? And turning to our left side, chin to chest. Center facing, starting with our side neck. Gazing to the right. And letting go, hands on deck, we'll walk forwards into our tabletop. All fours. So knees beneath hips, palms under shoulders, finding that alignment, using our breath in, dropping our belly towards our mat, opening through the chest. And as we exhale, using that full breath out to bring the chest in, the chin to chest, pressing up to the ceiling. Inhale, open. Exhale with that tuck of the tailbone, we feel that length come into the back of the body. Flowing with the breath. And a nice long spine coming into our downward facing dog. So lengthening through the arms all the way up, lifting through sit bones. We can alternate that pedaling of the dog, alternating that lengthening through the backs of the legs, checking in with the hamstrings, checking in with the calves here, letting that head hang heavy. And beginning to walk those feet to the front of our mats, taking our fold, our ragdoll. Hands to opposite elbows, rest the head, gentle sway side to side. And releasing fingers towards the floor. Let's inhale a half lift. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rising up on this in-breath, extending all the way tall, reaching up through the arms. Exhale, diving over. Inhale that half lift. Exhale, fold. Again, once more, inhale, pressing tall. Extend the arms, lengthen the side body. Exhale, folding forwards, keeping that length through the spine. Inhale, half lift. And stepping back to our high plank, hands to mat, long through the body, strong through the core. Middle fingers pointing forwards. Turn those inner elbows towards the front of our mats. So we're engaging through those shoulder muscles, the rotator cuff. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale, chaturanga as we lower down strong and steady. Inhale to our up dog or our cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Flowing with the breath, we'll take our inhale to high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. One more time through. Inhale to plank. Exhale, lower. Elbows stay tight. Inhale, press to open, soften shoulders. Exhale, downward dog. Inhaling our left heel to the sky. Stepping outside that left hand. Taking our lizard lunge. So releasing that back knee to the floor. We can keep hands to mat. We can take the elbows down. Or we can take hold of that back foot. Settling back into that breath after our flow, noticing if that breath rate has increased. If so, just letting it settle back in. We're not trying to forcibly slow it. But we just notice as we get still again, it begins to settle. So noticing how we're feeling through this left hip flexor today. We can consciously let go of, using the exhale, so finding where that focus point, that resistance is through the stretch. We're not trying to push through. See if we can find any more lengthening through letting go. relaxing that back leg to the mat. Taking that left foot towards center, we're going to come into a hamstring fold. So we're drawing those hips back evenly, keeping them square. We can either hold here in our hamstring fold, again keeping that length of the spine, toes towards the chest, feeling that opening through the back of the leg. If we'd like to take our splits, we can just introduce that space mindfully, so we're aware of how we're feeling through these hips, that we're not trying to take things too far. What we call our Goldilocks spot, that not too little, but not too much. So not too little that it's of no benefit to the body, but not too much where we're going to cause any problems, any injuries. And we're listening in to how the body responds to each posture with the breath. Maybe we feel a little bit more comfortable to lean into the pose a little more, or it could be the opposite. It may be that we need to ease out. That's why keeping our focus here is so important. That's why it is the practice. Slow, relaxed breathing. And we can come out of this any time we like. We can adjust it as much as we need to. And if we've taken the splits, we're going to make our way out slowly. So we're going to draw that right knee back beneath the hip, so coming towards that forward fold position. Then we're going to walk our hands out to the right hand side. We're going to take our half side split. So I'm going to turn to mirror this. So take our left leg out. Left leg should be towards the front of our mat. Nice and long, pressing that outer edge of the foot to the floor. We can ease those hips back and down, finding our support through palms or elbows. Breathing all the way down to the pit of the belly. And checking in here with the adductors, that inner left thigh. Again, finding that Goldilocks position, our edge. Feeling the benefit of the posture without it being difficult to be here. working our way up with the hands. So we're going to we're going to come into our pigeon. So we're going to turn to face the back of our mats. The hands to mat, sweeping that right foot underneath the body. It's going to come out towards that left wrist. And we're going to lower ourselves down. So we're not going to be facing the screen. So I'll be more descriptive when we come out of the posture when it's time to move. But for now, it doesn't matter because we're keeping that focus. We've found our version of this posture. We're resting the head as well as the back of the shoulders, softening the shoulders and arms. And our attention is here in the pose. Even if the mind is active, whatever thoughts we have coming and going, allowing them to come and go. But we're keeping this sense of awareness in the here and now. From here, we'll begin to walk those hands back beneath the shoulders. We're going to lower that right hip to the mat so we can turn facing forwards again. This left leg is going to stay out nice and long. So we're coming to a seated position, that right foot tucked into the thigh. As we inhale, we're going to reach the arms up. As we exhale, finding our fold with either a resting position or a hold with the hands. Now we can either stay here folding forwards. If we'd like that little side opener, we can open the chest to that right side, extending out through that top arm. Yogi's choice. You can bend as much as we'd like through the knee. Coming back to the breath. Ironing out any creases. Smooth, deep inhales. And long, relaxing exhales. Bringing ourselves back to sit tall. We're going to take that right foot across the thigh. So coming into our twist, we can bring that left arm around for a hug, or We can take our elbow across, whichever's most comfortable. Inviting a little bit more length up through the spine. Keeping space for breath. And gently letting go, facing forward, sweeping our feet behind. So in our tabletop at the front of our mat, we're going to come into our downward facing dog. If we'd like to take a vinyasa, if we're after more movement for this practice, we're welcome to take a flow now. Otherwise, we might just be enjoying this slow pace where we come up to our downward dog and we just enjoy a few more breaths here. Opening that chest towards the thighs, letting that head hang heavy. On an inhale, bringing that right heel tall, lengthening the leg. Exhale, stepping outside the right hand. Placing the foot, lowering the knee. Finding that alignment here, taking our time. Hands, elbows, or maybe hold of that back foot. As we breathe in, we're aware that we're breathing in, and aware as we're breathing out. Not just of the breath, but the effect that it has on the muscle, on the body, on our ability to relax here. Relaxing the back leg, right foot coming towards center of our mat. Framing the foot with the hands, lengthening evenly back through the hips, so we're drawing that right side we'll find will be the focus of drawing back, so we feel that lengthening through the back of the leg, those toes drawing towards the chest, especially if we're wanting a little bit more focus through the calf. If we'd like to, our Hanumanasana, taking that space, finding that edge. Resting into the breath. And slowly bringing that left knee underneath the hip. So walking our hands to the left-hand side. Long through that right leg, pressing that foot to floor. Adjusting that space, that stance. Melting our way down. Gentle through the breath. Just notice if that mind has a tendency to shift its focus. If we're off in thought, just inviting it back. Our practice of just being able to pay more attention to what's going on right now. Let's make our way to pigeon, taking our time, supported by those hands, walking them to the back of our mat, sweeping that left foot underneath the body. So we extend that back leg nice and long. Again, we're back facing, focus is just here in the posture. We're making full use of the breath here, both depth and rhythm. And beginning to walk the hands in. Sitting facing forwards, this right leg lengthening to the front of our mat this time. Tucking that left foot in. Sit tall, rise up on our inhale. Exhale, fold. So our options here, facing forwards or side opening. taking our choice. Deep belly breaths. And release to sit tall. Taking that left leg across, finding our hug, that elbow over. We sit tall, opening chest side facing. Deep breath in. Exhale, unwinding to face center. Bringing that left foot back over, we'll bend through the right knee, soles of the feet to the floor, shuffling forwards if we need to as we gently lower ourselves back to the mat. Resting the head and hugging the knees back towards the chest into our ball, a little side to side here. And then opening into our happy baby, finding a hold of the feet or somewhere along the legs. So lengthening that lower back, we're taking that tailbone towards the floor as opposed to rolling inwards. If we'd like that gentle movement, we can introduce it. And lowering those feet to floor once more. Coming into our Supta Baddha Konasana, our butterfly. Soles the feet in, knees opening out. We can relax hands beside. One to belly, one to heart, if we want to bring that focus in to the breath a little more. Or overhead to opposite elbows. And gently bringing knees inwards. Lengthening our legs out, finding our Shavasana. Settling the arms, settling the legs. Taking these last few minutes, keeping this focus inwards. Becoming more deeply aware of the breath. Again, that volume of air that we're taking in and out. Slow, gentle rhythm of the breath. As we wriggle fingers and toes. And inhaling arms overhead. Stretching long through the body. And rolling to our side. So we gently make our way to seated. Resting those sit bones to the earth, hands to heart center. As we take this final moment of our practice to express gratitude towards ourselves, that we continuously take this time out of our day, wherever we are, whenever it is, to come to our mats and bring ourselves back into balance. As we bow our heads to our hands, we honor ourselves and each other with namaste. Thank you very much.